You've definitely heard that phrase, right? Making bricks without straw. We use it all the time to mean, being asked to do an impossible job without the right tools. But the original story from the book of Exodus? Whoa, it is so much more than just a story about a mean boss. It's actually a masterclass in political strategy.
I mean, what if the whole point wasn't just to make people suffer? What if there was something way bigger, way more strategic going on?
Because when you really dig into the text, you don't just see a tyrant lashing out. You see this incredibly shrewd politician running a brilliant and, yeah, a totally brutal playbook to hold on to his power. Okay, let's get into this.
So, our story kicks off simply enough. You've got Moses and his brother Aaron, and they go stand before the most powerful man on the planet, the Pharaoh of Egypt, and they deliver a message.
The ask seems pretty straightforward. It's framed as, basically, a request for religious leave, a 3-year festival out in the desert. It's direct, it claims divine authority, and on the surface, it's just a matter of faith. But here's our first clue that things are a lot more complicated. See, Moses and Aaron were supposed to show up with the elders of Israel. But the great medieval commentator Rashi points out that they got cold feet. They literally just slipped away before they even got to the palace. So the mission was already starting to splinter from the inside, all because of fear. Pharaoh's reaction is instant. It's decisive. But it's not just a no, oh no. It is the opening move in this ruthless game of psychological warfare, and it's designed to completely break his opponents. So first, he just completely dismisses their God. This is not a negotiation. This is a pure power play. He's making it crystal clear that in his kingdom, there's no authority higher than him. And then he unleashes his real strategy. And this slide just lays out his plan perfectly. Look at the two sides. The old deal, the quota for bricks and the materials to make them were balanced. But look at the new decree. The quota stays exactly the same, but he takes away the key ingredient, the straw. Now they have to make the same number of bricks, but they also have to spend all their time scrambling to find the materials themselves. He's literally made the job impossible to do. Now this is the PR genius behind the cruelty. Pharaoh doesn't just say, I'm punishing you for challenging me. No, he spins a whole narrative. He calls them nerpim, which basically means slackers or shirkers. He tells everyone that this whole festival thing is just an excuse to be lazy and get out of work. He's weaponizing language to make his cruelty seem like a totally justified response. And here's the sneakiest part of the entire plan. Pharaoh creates this chain of command that is specifically designed to cause infighting. He gives the order, his Egyptian taskmasters, the Nogzim, they enforce it. But who do they put the pressure on? The Shotrim, Israelite overseers who are now forced to push their own people to hit this impossible target. Pharaoh just brilliantly turned the community against itself. And the fallout from this decree it's immediate, and it's absolutely devastating. The pressure doesn't just flow down, it basically explodes, and it rips right through the Israelite community, turning neighbor against neighbor. You can just see the dominoes fall here. The people can't find straw, the quotas aren't met, so who gets punished? The Israelite overseers. And Rashi's commentary points out their quiet heroism here. They took the beatings because they wouldn't inflict that same cruelty on their brothers. But after being beaten, then publicly shamed by Pharaoh when they appeal to him, their spirit just snaps, and they need someone to blame. So they turn all that rage on the only people they can, Moses and Aaron. I mean, just listen to that language. You put a sword in their hands to slay us. To them, Moses didn't bring a message of liberation. He brought a death sentence. Pharaoh's plan to divide and conquer, it's working flawlessly. Now, this total, crushing failure doesn't just break the people. It hits Moses, their leader, right at his very core. He did exactly what he was told to do by God, and the result has been an absolute catastrophe. This is, I think, one of the most human and relatable moments in the whole story. Moses turns to God not with faith, but with pure anguish. He's accusing God. Why did you make everything worse? And why on earth did you pick me for a mission that has only led to more pain? And you can just feel his crushing sense of personal failure here. Moses feels completely responsible. He spoke in God's name, and the only thing that happened was more suffering. From any rational human perspective, this mission is a complete and utter disaster. But it's right here, in this moment of absolute rock-bottom despair, that the entire dynamic of the story flips. God's response to Moses isn't some gentle reassurance.
It's not an apology, it's an escalation.
God basically says to Moses, you thought this was about him letting you go? Oh, you're thinking way too small. And notice that repetition, because of a greater might, because of a strong hand. The whole game has just changed.
This is the pivot point for the entire narrative. The goal isn't a 3-day religious festival anymore. Because of what Pharaoh did, because of this initial failure, the new goal is total unconditional liberation. Pharaoh won't just allow them to leave. He's going to be forced to literally drive them out of his country. The stakes just got so much higher. And Rashi adds this one last kind of tragic layer to this whole moment. He suggests that for this moment of doubt, for questioning the divine strategy, Moses paid a price. He would get to see the first victory. He'd see Pharaoh defeated, but he would never be allowed to see the final fulfillment of the promise and enter the promised land himself. So when you step back and look at the whole thing, you realize this wasn't really a failure at all, was it? It was a necessary test, a crucible. It proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this problem couldn't be solved with a polite request. It exposed the true nature of Pharaoh's power and what it was really going to take to break it.
And that kind of leaves us with this one last question to chew on. Can real lasting freedom ever be won through simple negotiation? Or does it always have to pass through the fire of a crushing setback first? A failure that finally reveals the true stakes and the real cost of liberation.